Seneca's letter 7 on crowds. Do you ask me what you should regard as especially to be avoided? I say, crowds. For as yet you cannot trust yourself to them with safety. I shall admit my own weakness. At any rate, for I never bring back home the same character that I took abroad with me. Something of that which I have forced to be calm within me is disturbed. Some of the foes that I have rooted return again. Just as a sick man who has been weak for a long time cannot be taken out of the house without suffering a relapse, so we ourselves are affected when our souls are recovering from a lingering disease. To consort with the crowd is harmful. There is no person who does not make some vice attractive to us, or stamp it upon us, or taint us unconsciously therewith. Certainly, the greater the mob with which we mingle, the greater the danger. But nothing is so damaging to good character as the habit of lounging at the games. For then it is, the vice steals subtly upon one, through the avenue of pleasure. What do you think I mean? I mean that I could come home more greedy, more ambitious, more voluptuous, and even more cruel and inhumane, because I have been among human beings. By chance I attend a midday exhibition, expecting some fun, wit, and relaxation. An exhibition at which men's eyes have respite from the slaughter of their fellow men. But it is quite the reverse. Previous combats were the essence of compassion, but now all the trifling is put aside, and it's pure murder. The men have no defensive armour. They are exposed to blows at all points, and no one ever strikes in vain. Many persons prefer this programme to the usual pairs and to the bounce by request. Of course they do. There is no helmet or shield to deflect the weapon. What is the need of defensive armour or of skill? All these mean delaying death. In the morning they throw men to the lions and the bears. At noon they throw them to the spectators. The spectators demand that the slayer shall face the man who is to slay him in his turn, and they always reserve the latest conqueror for another butchering. The outcome of every fight is death, and the means are fire and sword. This sort of thing goes on while the arena is empty. You may retort, but he was a highway robber. He killed a man. And what of it? Granted that, as a murderer, he deserved this punishment. What crime have you committed, poor fellow, that you should deserve to sit and see this show? In the morning they cried, "Kill him, lash him, burn him." Why does he meet the sword in so cowardly a way? Why does he strike so feebly? Why doesn't he die game? Whip him to meet his wounds. Let them receive blow for blow, with chest bare and exposed to the stroke. And when the game stops for intermission, they announce a little throat cutting in the meantime, so that there may still be something going on. Come now, do you not understand even this truth, that a bad example reacts on the agent? Thank the immortal gods that you are teaching cruelty to a person who cannot learn to be cruel. The young character, which cannot hold fast to righteousness, may be rescued from the mob. It is too easily to side with the majority. Even Socrates, Cato, and Laelius might have been shaken in their moral strength by a crowd that was unlike them. So true it is that none of us, no matter how much he cultivates his abilities, can withstand the shock of faults that approach, as it were, with so great a retinue. Much harm is done by a single case of indulgence or greed. The familiar friend, if he be luxurious, weakens and softens us imperceptibly. The neighbour, if he be rich, rouses of covetousness. The companion, if he be slanderous, rubs off some of his rust upon us, even though we be spotless and sincere. What then do you think the effect will be on character? When the world at large assaults us, it must either imitate or loathe the world. Both courses are to be avoided. You should not copy the bad simply because they are many, nor should you hate the many because they are unlike you. Withdraw into yourself as far as you can. Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve. The process is mutual, for men learn while they teach. There is no reason why pride in advertising your abilities should lure you into publicity, so that you desire to recite or harangue before the general public. Of course, I should be willing for you to do so if you had a stock in trade that suited such a mob. As it is, there is not a man among them who can understand you. One or two individuals will perhaps come in your way, but even these will have to be moulded and trained by you so that they will understand you. You may say, for what purpose did I learn all these things? But you need not fear that you have wasted your effort. It was for yourself that you learned them. In order, however, that I may not today have learnt exclusively for myself, I share with you 3 excellent sayings of the same general purport, which have come to my attention. This letter will give you one of them as payment of my debt. The other 2 you may accept as contribution in advance. Democritus says, one man means as much to me as a multitude, and a multitude only as much as one man. The following also was nobly spoken by someone. The author is uncertain. When asked what was the object of all his studies, knowing it would reach so few, he replied, I am content with few. I am content with one. Content with none at all. The third saying, and a noteworthy one too, is by Epicurus, written to one of the partners of his studies. I write this not for the many, but for you. Each of us is enough of an audience for the other. Lay these words to heart, Lucilius, that you may scorn the pleasure which comes from the applause of the majority. Many men praise you, but have you any reason for being pleased with yourself? If you are a person whom the many can understand, your good qualities should face inwards. Farewell. How Seneca's letter 7 speaks to us today. Crowds may look different today, but the dangers Seneca describes are still here, just louder, faster, and more algorithmic. Whether it's social media, groupthink, reality shows, or online outrage mobs, we are constantly exposed to the noise of the crowd. And like Seneca says, we often walk away from that exposure a little more anxious, envious, reactive, or numb than when we came in. He reminds us that it's not just others who influence us, it's the sheer weight of the collective that wears us down. Even strong people, even wise people, are shaped by the environments they enter. So what's the answer? Not total withdrawal or total imitation, but intentional connection. Avoid the crowd when you need to protect your peace. Be around people who sharpen your integrity. And most of all, learn how to live well in quiet, even if no one's watching. Because as Seneca says, if the crowd understands you easily, maybe you're not aiming high enough. Here's the 3 questions to reflect on. What crowds in your life subtly change how you think, act, or feel? 2. Are you trying to impress others or improve yourself? And 3. Who are the few voices worth listening to in a world full of noise? So my take on this letter, I don't like crowds. I've always had a problem with them. It's not just a preference, it's a psychological reaction. I'm in fight or flight mode from the moment I step into a packed space. It's something I'm actively working on. But Seneca puts into words a version of this that really resonates with me. How even being around certain energies or environments can leave you more anxious, more reactive, or just out of sync with yourself. With knowing I'm quite intense and many thoughts pop into my head very quickly, I worry about being that person who sucks the life out of you. You know, the ones who, when they leave, you feel like you need to sleep or slow your breathing down. It's not always about the volume, it's the vibe. You walk in one way and walk out changed, and not for the better. I've started stepping back from certain places, even people, when I feel that shift. It's not about judgment, it's about self respect. Question one. The online world is a bizarre one. It's quite often fake, unfortunately. I look down on a lot of people online with a feeling of superiority. Not in a good way. And then the other parts where I get angry, especially if I perceive them as stupid or some form of injustice has happened. Getting angry about things I can't control or change, and all of the while these people don't even know they are affecting me. That isn't being superior at all. Quite the opposite. I do it less now, where I draft a cutting reply to something only to delete it. Now I ask, what do I hope to and think I will achieve? That's the part that gets me. They go on with their daily lives while I'm left holding frustration that isn't mine to carry. That's when I know I need distance. It's not about being above it. It's about seeing the importance of things and not letting people live rent-free in your head. Question two. This one's solid. I've done both, and I still catch myself doing it. But the difference is clear. Impressing others is about surface. It's quick, reactive, and hollow. Improving myself feels slower, but it's real. There's no applause for reflection. No one claps for discipline or honesty. But when I'm working on something I actually care about, there's a quiet satisfaction to it. I don't have to share it. I don't even have to explain it. I just have to live it. That's the shift I'm aiming for. Less broadcasting, more becoming. And the last question. By default, I question. I don't blindly believe anything anyone says. And I think that's just as important as not doubting everything. Belief to me is about percentages. How likely is this to be true? I've done a lot of thought experiments on truth, especially if we do live in a quantum world. This mindset has helped me, but it's also hindered me at times. After a bad motorbike accident, I tried to see a hypnotist to recall what happened. The bus that caused the crash had disappeared. He started the session with, "You can believe everything I say." I stopped and said, "No, I can't. I don't know you." He refunded me half of that, and that was the end of that session. Another time, I was on a free NLP course, and they started saying that everything Tony Robbins says is true. I knew straight away I was in the wrong room. So when I do find a voice I trust, someone who encourages thought instead of worship, I hold on to that. Not because they're always right, but because they help me think more clearly for myself. As ever, please like, share, and subscribe. Throw me a comment as to what you think about today and how that affected your life or how you changed what you'll do today. Thank you very much, and goodbye.